Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to introduce you to is a variety of buttons. These I bought from Pakistan when I was there. They're velvet covered silver buttons, and I've used on these. You've probably seen quite a few videos where I've used these on trousers and so on. Now I bought quite a lot because I knew one of the problems that you have over here is getting stuff like this. So I bought every color actually, to go with, you know, and the intention was to actually sell them, and I never actually got around to it. So this is one of the things that if you wanted to order these, they're about 25 pence each, and you know, they will, if you get about £5 worth in a few different colors, then that will eliminate the problem to actually, you know, repeatedly order and so on. But these things like this, you have to build them up, and you know, you can if you skimp on things. I mean, obviously it's cost me hundreds and thousands of pounds to collect all this, you know, stuff, because over time there is the constant need for them. Okay, so now this suit, I've already shown a preview of this suit, and again on this suit I've used these little droplets. Now these were quite expensive, and I bought, I think they're about, you know what, I can't even remember what I'd paid for them, but I think they're around about, I don't know, about 50 pence each for these, and I bought quite a few because it's little things like this that finish off the garment. Now the other thing that I used on this was these diamantes, and a little tip for you: sometimes we saw these clothes where there's loads and loads and loads of these stuck on, and I tell you, you know, if you've got fabric, we often take these off that then, and if you've got, you know, a suit where you're no longer wearing it, or you're sewing and all the offcuts come, I often have saved in the past, and then there's loads that get thrown away, but these were specific ones that I actually purchased. So if you want something like this or something like this, then you know what, they are available. Now I'm going to show you something else that I purchased, if I can locate it. I always put things in places and then I forget where I put them. Do you know what? One of the other things that I want to introduce you to, this is Wonder Web. Now you may have seen videos of this. This is an iron on both sides. Basically you cut it to size, you iron it on with the backing onto your fabric, and then you peel away the backing and you iron it onto like necklines and so on, and it's so much easier to do. I wouldn't recommend using this alone. Initially stick it down with this and then use stitching on top, so it works wonders. Okay, so that's just one of the other things that I wanted to introduce you to. Then there are things like laces and so on, and I have basically tons and tons of different types of laces, although I haven't probably got them in the quantity that, you know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put quite a few varieties of laces. I'll just get my box out. This is when my friend Cindy was here. She actually tidied all these up, and I've not really got into the box. So Cindy, this is still in your memory. Now this is the one that I used, okay, but sadly I've only got like a piece left over because it does require quite a bit. Now one of my members, she'd actually purchased this suit and she was saying she wanted to make it the same, so I was suggesting to her to use green, and this is the green version. Now these laces, there's so many different types. What I'll do is I'll try and photo these and put them on in the forum, and then if you're interested, what you can do is I'll put the prices next to them, and then you can choose. And if you want to, I've used this on a variety of dresses for Inaya, and this is such a beautiful lace. And if you're ordering, I wouldn't say individually order these, but if you're ordering, then buy a few different types, and even from the leftovers, then you've got a variety. Now the other thing that I actually showed a couple of days ago in one of the videos, you probably saw a preview of this, was all the fabrics like these Banarsis and so on. Now I built my array because in sewing you just cannot do without them. So this is something else that I will also try and take photos of, and then I will upload those onto the forum. And if you're interested, then just drop me a line, and get half a yard or a yard of each, and just keep them and build up, including silks and stuff. So if you're specific about any particular colors, because when you're out there and you're trying to get hold of colors, it is so difficult. So basic colors like red, hot pink, blue, gold, these are colors that I would recommend constantly keeping. And then the other thing that you do is when you're stitching and you get pieces left over, pieces like, hold on, now you're gonna see loads of mess everywhere, because obviously when you're sewing and you're cutting, pieces lie everywhere. So this is a piece that's been left over from the trouser, and I would actually cut this down, and I would keep this, and then the next time when I'm making something, and I would use this for the piping, even if it's just for the dory, so you don't waste anything, and that way that there's a use for it. And now one of the other things that's very useful is this. This is cord. This is piping cord, and this is a very good quality one. So it comes in bunches, and again, if you wanted, I'll put the prices of all these things on, and then if you wanted to order, you can specify, and I can send it out with your shipments. So that's just a couple of things. I mean, obviously there's tons and tons of things, and it's these little things that make the suit. Like with this suit, it's the corded dory on the suit, and the lace, and the bead inserts, and the iron-on diamantes that have made this suit. So I often have people who aspire to do things like this, but if you're aspiring to do things like this, then obviously you need the little gadgets and the little bits and bats in order to complete your projects. So just a wonderful array of things for you to help you along. Anyway, if you're interested, do get in touch, and I will, what I've done is basically given my WhatsApp number, my mobile number, to loads and loads of people, so I'm inundated with calls. But as long as I'm providing something that is very, very rare, especially for people who live on far off distant places. I know it's very difficult to get hold of certain things. I mean, outfits like this you can make, but then you do need to have these little bits. Now, places like Pakistan and India, things like this are readily available, but if you're living in Canada or Australia or even the European countries, even in England, we're actually quite fortunate because we've got shops around every corner, and big bazaars and so on, so you can get a lot. But I know in places like America and so on, it's very, very difficult. So if we can help along, then by all means drop a line, and I'll do whatever I can to help you in achieving the results.